Welcome to today's webinar for Making Tax Digital for Income Tax in Sage 50 Accounts. Today's session is all about how to get set up and process and submit quarterly updates in 50 accounts as a sole trader. We now have a dedicated webinar for landlords. Although the setup process is very similar, you can get registered via sage.co.uk/webinars, but it also will be in today's handout, and I'll show you that towards the end of the session. Just to make you aware, we're not going to be covering the legislation on today's webinar. There is a dedicated webinar for that also, and I'll show you in just a moment how to get registered for that one if you haven't already attended. The questions panel will be open today. Please do bear with me on the questions front. We'll try our best to answer all the questions on today's session, but we will be prioritising questions related to the product first rather than legislation. This session is going to last approximately 45 minutes, depending on how many questions we have at the end. My name is Abby, and I'm a learning facilitator here at Sage. Today, I'm going to take you through that Making Tax Digital for Income Tax in your Sage 50 Accounts software. Okay, so we're going to start today's session by talking about some important considerations before using Sage 50 Accounts for MTD for Income Tax. We'll then move on to onboarding your 50 accounts for MTD for income tax with some video demonstration. We'll then delve into the digital records and quarterly updates with some more video demonstration. Then we'll move on to frequently asked questions. And then towards the end of the session, we'll summarise what we have covered and give any last chance to get your questions across to us. Okay, so let's get stuck in with the important considerations. So first one, when you use the Sage 50 accounts, it is one income source per company. So if you have more than one registered sole trader income source, more than one registered property income source, or that you are a registered sole trader and a UK registered property owner as well, then you need to submit individual quarterly updates and annual submissions. Therefore, you'll need individual ledgers for each of these income sources. So this can be handled by using multiple companies in Sage 50 accounts to submit for each income source. Alternatively, you could use a company in 50 accounts for one income source, and then you could use Sage Sole Trader for another. Okay, so let's get stuck in. So the onboarding process is going to look a bit like this. So there's a few things you need to consider. So you need your government gateway credentials. You need your national insurance number. You need to have access to the 50 accounts manager logon, and also as well a Sage account if your company is not already linked to connected services. A question we often get if you're an accountant, you may need, instead of the your client's gateway credentials, you may need your ASA credentials to log in, and then you would log in on their behalf using their national insurance number when prompted in the software. Then once you've linked all have all those details to hand, you're going to link a Sage account if it's not already done so. Then you'll then sign up for MTD for income tax or HMRC. And then you'll authorise Sage 50 to link with the HMRC gateway. If you're a sole trader, you'll also need to be on version 33.1 and above. If you are a landlord, you will need to be on version 34. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to watch the first demonstration on how to onboard MTD for income tax in your software. If you do have any questions, do pop them into the questions panel for me and I'll pick these up.
Signing up for Making Tax Digital for Income Tax in Sage 50 accounts is simple. In this video, we'll look at how to link your government gateway account to your Sage 50 account software and assign income tax categories. To do this, from the Connected Services menu, select MTD for income tax. If your company is already connected to a Sage account, you'll go straight to step 2. Sign up for Making Tax Digital on HMRC. If it's not yet connected, you'll need to connect your company to a Sage account first. Click Connect Company to a Sage account. Enter your first name and last name. If this is the first Sage 50 accounts company you're connecting to a Sage account, these details will become the account owner. Click Continue. Your company details are now shown. Check these details are correct. Any changes made here will also update company preferences. Once you're happy, click Continue. You'll now be prompted to log in or create an account. Enter your email address, then click Continue. If a Sage account already exists, enter your password and log in. If not, you'll be guided through creating one. Your company is now connected to a Sage account. To complete setting up the service, click Continue. Make sure you've registered for Making Tax Digital for income tax through your Government Gateway account before continuing. If you've not done this yet, click Sign Up on HMRC and follow the on-screen instructions. If you've already signed up on HMRC, click here. To authorize Sage to share updates with HMRC, you'll need your Government Gateway login details and national insurance number. To create a secure connection, first click Authorize with HMRC, then click Continue. You can now sign in to the HMRC online service. To do this, click here, then sign in with your HMRC user ID and password. Now click Give Permission. Next, enter your national insurance number and click Continue. Check the details displayed are correct. Once you're happy, click Confirm and complete setup. Your software is now MTD ready. To ensure accurate quarterly updates, you must assign income tax categories to any profit and loss codes being used. To do this later, click Done. To do this now, click Assign Income Tax Categories. Multiple nominal codes can be assigned to a single tax category. To do this, hold down the Control key on your keyboard, then select the required nominal codes. Now, from the toolbar, click Change Tax Category. From the drop-down menu, choose the required category, then click OK. To deselect nominal codes, from the toolbar, click Clear. To select a tax category on an individual basis, click the drop-down and select the required category. To import your tax categories from another company or export from this company, you can use these options along the top. Once you're happy, click Save, then Close. To complete the setup process, click Done. If you choose to assign tax categories to nominal codes later, you can access the settings from the Nominal Codes module. From the module, click Assign Income Tax Categories, make the necessary changes and click Save. You're now ready to start submitting your quarterly updates in Sage 50 accounts. You've now learned how to link your Government Gateway account to Sage 50 accounts and assigned income tax categories.
Okay, so that is the setup process. Don't worry if you make a note or you need to rewatch that video. It is going to be included in the recording and you will receive that around an hour after the session has ended. So don't worry, you are going to be able to revisit these videos as well. Just one thing I want to point out is there as well, when you set up MTD for income tax, it is going to automatically detect your period, whether that's the standard period or the calendar periods. In the next demonstration, I'll show you where you can find settings as well if you do need to change that, but it should detect it from your Government Gateway account. If you're planning on setting up MTD, and you're not seeing the options, it could be down to your version. On the handout, you can see there along the bottom, you can click here and it's going to show you where you can download those versions. Okay, so let's take a look at the requirements. So what you need, what is it that you need to be recording and submitting? So you can break down MTD for income tax into 3 sections. So first, we have recording your income and expenses. So if you're already using software, you may already be doing these steps. So in that case, nothing is changing. You just keep recording your transactions. You just need to make sure that you're recording for each business or each property that you own. Secondly, is the quarterly updates. So these quarterly updates are just going to be the totals for each category, which if you have entered into software already, they will be calculated and added together for you. So you're not sending HMRC transactional data. Lastly, you've got your final adjustments, your corrections, and you're submitting your final tax return. So although you can make adjustments throughout, you may need to check if any final adjustments or you may need to claim any applicable relief, and this can be done at this point. Once all the checks have been done, you then submit a final tax return, confirming everything that has been submitted is to the best of your knowledge. So let's delve into a bit more about the digital records and the quarterly updates. So when it comes to processing in the software, you must enter all income and expenses. If you're a sole trader and a landlord, you must keep your property digital records separate from your business digital records. When entering transactions, you must include the mandatory fields like date, nominal code, and amount. In the latest update, when entering transactions, the process remains the same. So there's no difference when you're processing your transactions. You just need to make sure that you're selecting the correct nominal code. So when your when your transactions are picked up, they'll be mapped to the correct correct category. And that's how they'll be picked up on the quarterly update. So it goes by your nominal code that is selected on your transactions. So the different categories that are defined by HMRC. So you're looking at turnover, costs of goods bought for resale, wages, salaries and other staff costs, car, van and travel expenses. So you might be wondering, well, what am I expected to record? So for self-employment, it will be the likes of including sales, takings, fees, costs of stock, travel, office and other financial costs. But what you might find is that you're actually already recording this information. So this part of the process may be no different for you. Additionally, you can also automate some of your processing by using something called bank feeds. You might already be using this, you might have heard the feature before, but you can also use bank feeds rules to automate some of your transactions when they come in to the bank. We do have dedicated sessions for bank feeds as well if you want to check out those as well. Okay, so let's have a look at quarterly updates. So quarterly updates are a simple summary of income and expenses. It's going to support you and HMRC in understanding your tax and national insurance liability across the year. So what must be in that quarterly update? So it's just income and expense tax category totals for the period. So you're not sending HMRC transactional data. So when you look at the quarterly update, you'll see in the demonstration, it's just adding all of those nominal codes, those totals for those nominal codes and popping it into a report. So this is the same information that would be provided in the existing self-assessment tax return, but it's now provided more often, so it's provided quarterly. Now don't worry if your data is not completely accurate within these stages, because you can always adjust in the next quarter, as the periods are cumulative. You just need to make sure at the final stage of coming to submit your tax return, it is as accurate to the best of your knowledge. If you wish to view the tax categories in your handout, I've provided a link at the bottom, and that's going to include the sole trader tax categories and the landlord tax categories because they are different. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you the next demonstration on how to process and submit. So this video again is based off standard update periods. If you're aligned to calendar periods, again, as I mentioned, the software will detect this from your government gateway account. And again, alternatively, you can switch this in the settings. And I believe it has to be before you submit your quarterly update. So again, haven't had any questions come through as of yet, but please do pop them through and I'll pick these up.
Entering transactions under Making Tax Digital for income tax remains the same. Just make sure you enter the date, a nominal code linked to a tax category, and the amount. In the Nominal Codes module, you can assign nominal codes to tax categories and submit your quarterly updates. To submit a quarterly update, click here. Use the drop-down menus to choose your tax year and quarterly update period. Here, you'll also see your next submission deadline and the date of your last submission. To view the transactions behind each tax category total, click the total. From here, you can export the total value for the tax category. To export individual transactions, click into the total and click to export. If you spot any discrepancies, simply find the relevant transaction and make your changes. Once you're happy with the figures, click Submit to HMRC. On a successful submission, a correlation ID will be displayed. Make sure to keep a note of this for future reference. If you forget to copy it, you can find the correlation ID in Connected Services under MTD for Income Tax Settings, where you'll see the option to copy the ID from your last submission.
Okay, so that is how to process. Again, processing hasn't changed in terms of when you're entering your transactions. There's no additional steps to pop in. You're just making sure you're selecting the right nominal code. But again, if you need to rewatch the video, you can do that with your recording. Okay, so I'm going to very briefly touch upon this, just so you can get registered if you are a landlord as well. So the landlord option is available in version 34. That's available now. You can set up a new company if you've got the license to do so. You must upgrade to version 34 before activating MTD for income tax as a landlord, as the tax categories are different to sole trader tax categories, and these cannot be changed once it's been activated. If you are unable to upgrade straight away, might be that you have to wait for IT to do this or whatever, you can still process your transactions into the software without activating MTD. You just need to make sure that you're using the correct nominals that are mapped to income tax categories after activation. If you want to get registered, on the right hand side there, you can see the little button that says click here to get registered. That's the landlord webinar. The first one is on Monday. So if you want to get registered for that, we also have another date in July as well. So there is a couple of dates for you to attend. Finally, we have the final tax return within our personal tax product that will link with 50 accounts. So this stage is still in development. So what you see here is subject to change, but this will be ready ahead of the final tax return deadline. Another key thing to note as well, there will be no charge to do your final tax return within our personal tax product. Okay, so let's move on to important questions answered. The first one is a question we've had quite a lot on previous sessions. So what if I process CIS transactions? So CIS transactions will be included in your quarterly updates. So you will need to make sure that your CIS nominal codes are mapped to the income tax categories. Can I see archived submissions? So this will not be available in the software. However, you are provided with the correlation ID at the point of submission to locate this within your Government Gateway account. You can find the latest ID in the MTD income tax settings. So that was into connected services and then into the MTD settings. Can I export the tax category totals? So yes, in version 34, you can export the quarterly update as a CSV file with the total values. You can also drill down and export each category individually. Then lastly, which variant will support MTD for income tax? So you will be able to activate MTD for income tax on all variants that are cloud connected. So that's the connected services. There will also be no extra charge to use 50 accounts for MTD for income tax as well. Okay, so as I've mentioned if you attended the legislation webinar, so our webinar, the legislation webinar is quite top level. We do have an online course which is free, which is a lot more in depth than the webinar, and that it gives you the option to do this at your own leisure as well, at your own pace. It's interactive. You can also earn a digital badge on there as well. So if you do want to get registered for that or access that on your handout, you can just click here to get started. Okay, so to summarize, you need to be on version 33.1 and above for sole trader. It's one income source per company on 50 accounts. You can also use Sage 50 accounts and sole trader. Now, if you are going to use both products, they don't link together. They are two separate entities, so they're two separate products. They won't interlink. The way you process transactions remains the same. The landlord option is available in version 34, and that is available now. If you are a landlord, you can continue to process transactions into the software until you are able to upgrade to 34. The final tax return process is in development and will be available ahead of the final tax return. So I have included some links down the right hand side there. So we've got the MTD for Income Tax Hub, we've got HMRC guidance, support and income sources, and also as well we've got the 50 accounts specific MTD for Income Tax Hub as well. So that brings us to the end of today's session. If you've got what you need today and you want to leave the session, you'll receive an email within around an hour or so with links to both our webinar schedule and today's recorded session for you to refer back to if needs be. Upon exiting the session, you will see a survey at the end. If you could please let me know any feedback regarding today's session. Remember, some of the stuff that we have covered today has been set out by HMRC, and we've just been breaking down that guidance. The survey that you'll see today is going to be asking you more questions about how I've done on the webinar, what did you like about the webinar, and what would you like to have seen or to be done differently. Okay, so what I'll do is we'll end it at that point. I want to say thank you to you all for your participation. And just a reminder, we've got plenty of sessions over the next couple of weeks, so don't be shy and get registered. So I want to say another thank you and take care.